Neg Spiral, how's it going? If you can hear me, let me know. Been a hot minute since I've streamed, guys. How's it going, DragonMates? Good evening to you. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting over this cold, so it's going to be like this. Oh, there we go. Dayon 9000, Marmo H2, Joe Smock. Oh, cool. Good to hear, DragonMates. How's it going, Moobot? Faithful Moobot in the chat. Talent Factory, Eric. Zion Canyon, good to see you. Hey, Orlova Chess. And Chess Bay. Hey, Chess Bay, long time no see. It's Friday night, how's everyone doing? I'm going to have a low-key Friday night because I'm heading out of town. I'm going to Iceland on Sunday. So just going to take it easy. And also, as I just mentioned, still recovering from being sick. So I'm healthy enough to stream, but not healthy enough to go too crazy tonight. So, Wandering Winder just subscribed. Thank you, Wandering Winder. That is much appreciated. Especially since this is my first stream in over 2 weeks. Thanks, Chess Bay. I miss you as well. I have missed you. Mason Blue, hello. So I'm going to play a couple longer games tonight. I've wanted to do this on a stream, but I haven't done it yet. I've just been playing Blitz and Bullet. But I think it's high time I played some longer games. Some 10 or 15 minute. So I'm thinking I'll play 2 games. And just talk to you guys. Give my commentary on the games as I play. Yeah, DragonMates, I think just I caught something in Texas. Some sort of virus. And the worst of it was the first couple days, but I'm still dealing with the effects. Just all this traveling, stress, playing tournament chess for 8 or 9 hours a day. It's not good on the immune system. Diet gets messed up, sleeping gets messed up. I always forget my vitamins when I'm traveling. It's just, yeah, it's no good. But I was in Mexico for a few days for my friend's wedding. That was awesome. That was good recovery. Oh, thanks, Perpetual Stalemate. Yeah, we pulled out a victory against the Miami champions in the Pro Chess League. On DragonMates, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was a thrilling match on Wednesday night. Because we were down 5-7 going into the final round of the 4. And it seemed like a foregone conclusion that we were going to lose the match. But we blanked them in the final round. We went 4-0. We completely swept them. Just sort of out of the blue. Sean Nagel won a game real quickly against their board 4, Nicky Rosenthal. And then Andrew had this very complicated game against Eduardo Iturizaga where he came out on top, just back and forth, looked unclear, but most of the time in Andrew's favor. And then I luckily won against, what's his name? John Ludwig, I should say, not Ludwig. Not John Ludwig Hammer. John Ludwig, the American player. I was completely busted, like -5 or -6 or something, but he blundered his queen. Just allowed a one-move tactic for me to pin his queen with my bishop. And then Akshat Chandra even beat Julio Becerra. So we won the match by more than enough. We needed 3-1 to tie the match, and we ended up going 4-0. And as a result, we got into the playoffs, which is fantastic. Yeah, we pulled a reverse chess bra. That's right. The chess bras have had a real tough go of it. And it's too bad they're going to miss the playoffs. Now they have to try to avoid getting relegated. It's a cutthroat league. Oh, you're having issues, Eric? Yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you. Falcon Punch, I gotta say Chess Castle because I don't really know too much about the Twin Cities Chess Club. I'm sure the Twin Cities Chess Club is run by very fine people, but I just don't know too much about them. The Chess Castle is legendary. It's one of the best clubs in the country. Favorite music, says Hallmatic. I would say classic rock, for sure. Rush is one of my favorite bands. I mean, they're more like progressive rock, I guess. But, yeah, I love classic rock. I like arena rock, too. I mean, related genre, but Boston, Journey, Styx, bands like that, I'm all about that. Def Leppard. What's the best strat for the Pro Chess League? Stack the top boards like St. Louis or solid across all of them like mini? You know, in my experience, having been a manager and a player in the US Chess League, which is the predecessor to the Pro Chess League, in my experience, the balanced lineups do better. I was a manager when I was in school at University of Texas at Dallas. So I was a manager for the Dallas Destiny and also playing for that team. And we won back-to-back US Chess League championships using very balanced lineups. In fact, I think one year that we won, we didn't have a single Grandmaster on our lineup, but we had a ton of IMs, and we had some very good board fours, like underrated juniors on board four. And now, the Pro Chess League is a different format, but it's kind of similar in that you're playing on four boards and you're totaling the points, and board one counts the same as board four. So I tend to think the balanced lineups are the way to go, especially if you can find just some underrated, almost always it's an underrated kid, stick them on board four and just have them clean up. But if you can have like some solid players on 1 and 2, they don't have to be just GM killers every time, but solid players, I think you got a good chance. Yeah, Insider, I love Rush. I discovered Rush a little bit later in life than I would have liked. Maybe, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years ago. But this is just a great band. It's a shame that more people don't know about them. Riot Chaser says, hey, John, I've got a team chess tournament tomorrow for region qualifiers. Our team is the 3rd highest rated team in our section. Do you have any tips or advice? I'm playing in high school, by the way. Thanks. Hard to say, Riot Chaser. I don't know anything about you other than what you just described there. But I would say just have fun. Do your best, have fun. Try to learn something from the games. Can't really offer too much other than just platitudes, unfortunately. But yeah, have a good time. Obviously, you're very early in your chess career. Use your time that's available. Don't get in time pressure, but definitely don't move too fast. Wandering Winder says balanced, I think, is even better in the PCL format. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it probably is when you have 4 rounds played on 4 boards, 16 points up for grabs. Agent Michael Scaron, my vacation was awesome. It was great. Hung out by the beach. Got to see my 2 friends get married. Yeah, they're a lovely couple. One of my friends, the groom, he's been one of my best friends since elementary school. I read a psalm at the wedding. It was kind of unexpected, but so they had like this Mexican wedding planner, and I think my friend, the bride and the groom, they didn't quite know exactly like how the wedding ceremony was going to go. So I was asked to read this psalm the day before the wedding, and it was funny because I had no idea. At first I thought it was like, okay, just a generic Bible passage, whatever, I'll just get up there and read it. But then when I get to the wedding, I'm talking to the wedding coordinator, and she's like, okay, it's very adamant that when you say this psalm, it's like a 11-line psalm. After every line of the psalm, you have to have the people in attendance repeat this line back to you. And I forgot what the line was, but it was written down on this sheet of paper, but it wasn't in the wedding program. So I said, well, how will they know what to repeat back to me? And she's like, oh, you have to tell them what to repeat back to you. So basically I had to go up there and read this 11-line psalm and also tell them what to repeat back to me. It was very awkward. Like I felt like if I was in the audience, I'd need a instruction booklet or something so it didn't get awkward. But it actually worked out fine. And yeah, the ceremony lasted like 35, 40 minutes. It was pretty brisk. They skipped communion. And then we all had drinks and went dancing on the beach. They laid down like this dance floor. It looked like this DDR sort of thing. If you've ever played Dance Dance Revolution, it looked like one of those, but just much larger. And they just put that thing like smack dab on the beach. Like, you know, I don't know, a couple dozen feet away from the shoreline. And it was great. Like great beach reception. Everyone had fun. Someone just donated some bits, I believe. Plunder My Blunder. How you doing, Plunder My Blunder? Cheers, 2,000 bits. Good job in the Lee Chess titled arena. It was fun to see you play Magnus. Oh, thanks, Plunder My Blunder. Yeah, I did play the Lee Chess titled arena yesterday. And it's on YouTube. I played Magnus Carlsen, Dr. Drunkenstein. I won't spoil how that game went. I will say that I played the Scandinavian, of course. Also, Undercooked Chicken used 3 bits. Wait, used? Used or cheered? On my Streamlabs, it says used. I don't know what that means. but said hi, Chess Bay. So Chess Bay Undercooked Chicken is giving a shout out to you. Sorry, I'm missing some comments here. Hey there, John. You throwing down in Iceland soon? That's right, Regulus. I'm on my way there on Sunday. I have an entire day of traveling. It's kind of ridiculous, actually, because I have to fly to Seattle, and then I have to fly from Seattle after like a 6-hour layover, Seattle to Keflavik Airport outside of Reykjavik. But yes, I'm getting ready for the tournament. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Terminoil. Yeah, what is the bit exchange rate? I don't know what that is. Well, okay, I've looked it up before, but I don't know it off the top of my head. John, one day you'll find yourself a queen and make lovely pawns with her, says Dan. I hope so, man. Terminoil. Yeah, we did play one time, didn't we? I'm pretty sure I remember. Okay, used equals cheered. All right, got it. I was just confused by that terminology. Yeah, no problem, Riot Chaser. Sorry I wasn't able to offer any more specific advice, but as I said, just have fun, have a good time. There's very little advice anyone can possibly give you just on that short of notice without knowing more about you. But yeah, use your time, try to learn something from the games, encourage your teammates. Falcon Punch, am I going to be playing people tonight? I should get a game going here in a second, but my intention was just to play someone in a 10 or 15 minute game. I'd preferably like to play someone 1800 plus. So yeah, you know, if someone is on the stream here and is on chess.com and wants to play, let's say like let's make it like a 10 plus 10 game. I think that's a pretty good time control for tonight's purposes. Feel free to challenge me. Mention in the chat who you are, and feel free to challenge me. I think I have my challenges open. Thanks, Swagger. Yeah, Iceland's awesome. This is my 3rd trip to Iceland. It's great. Definitely recommend you go sometime. Yeah, DragonMates and I met at the Southwest Class Championship in Dallas. Dragon was having an awesome tournament, and unfortunately for him, his performance kind of tailed off towards the end of the tournament. But he's a very promising young player. He had one of the Grandmasters on the ropes. I was playing directly next to them in round, I want to say like round 4, something like that, 3 or 4. And Dragon, I know you know that you should have won that game. I felt for you, man. You did pull off a nice swindle at the end to, I think, save the draw, right, in the Queen End game. But I thought for sure you were going to take that Grandmaster down. DragonMate's also a big fan of the Chess Bras. He was wearing his Chess Bra hoodie. He was representing them. Whoa, Chessbait cheered 10,000 bits for a game versus DragonMates and to support your baby stream. My baby stream. We can't wait to see more of you after Reykjavik. Thanks, Chessbait. What does that mean, baby stream? Am I going to give birth on camera or something? Or is that a reference to the one day making the pawns, as the other person said? Or is that just a reference to like my fledgling channel right here, my small but growing channel? Yeah, okay, so that's a reference to the small number of videos, yes. I'm working on it, Chessman. I'm growing my Twitch library. It's a process. Okay, Matt, I can definitely play you, because obviously I know you, Matt. Matt is one of my students, and he would be a good match. However, since Chessbait cheered, I think, Dragon, if you want to play, we should play now. So let me see. Whoa, got a lot of challenges here. Are you DragonMates on chess.com? Hey, Flash Gordon. Oh, you're Penguin Packs. All right, let's do it. Let us go. So, 10 minute, 10 plus 10. There's a little bit of an increment. Oh, and thank you for the 100 bits, Flash Gordon. Appreciate that. What do I want to open against Penguin Packs? Let's open with the English. I've been kind of turning around the idea in my head of playing the English more often. So, yeah, it seems like as good a time as any. All right, let's play knight c3. He's playing the symmetrical. I actually think c5 is one of the strongest responses to the English. I think it's pretty darn difficult for white to get an edge against this line if black knows what they're doing. So, yeah, g6. Okay, I'm going to play a symmetrical variation. We're going to fianchetto the bishops. Okay, let's go for an early a3. Yes, thank you, Perpetual. I'm not very far along in my pregnancy. This is going to be such an odd thing for people watching later on YouTube to put their head around because they can't see the chat right now. Why is John talking about being pregnant? Okay, e5. So I'm very tempted to play b4 here, but problem is after e4, that unleashes the dark square bishop. I can't take with the knight. So I don't think it's wise to play it quite yet. Still, though, I'm looking at both d3 and castles here. I think I'm just going to castle. Because e4 is not a threat, so I don't feel like I have to reinforce the e4 square necessarily. So I'll just play the more flexible move. Oh, there's no increment. There's no increment. That's good. Well, not good, but it's good that I know that. Okay, here I'm definitely thinking about the b4 move. Yeah, it can be played under more acceptable circumstances. Let's do it. This is the whole reason I played this early a3. Most of the time you're going d3 and then trying to maneuver for control of like the d5 square, for instance, when black adopts this pawn structure. But you can try to be radical and blast open the queen side. Yeah, thank you to those who just pointed out this is 10+0 instead of 10-10. Next game, we'll try to do an increment. BL Swagger, cheers 241. 241 bits. Thank you, BL Swagger. Don't know why that little animation is not popping up, by the way. I want to learn the English simply because I think 1c4 looks aesthetically pleasing, says Zion Canyon. Yeah, that's a good point. It is an aesthetically pleasing opening. Okay, so I want to go here and then try to quickly attack d6. Thank you, Undercooked Chicken, for the final bit. I'm honored. I could also play queen a4 check and give black the option of which piece to put back on c6, but I think it's better to play bishop a3 because I want to try to quickly bring about pressure on d6. And Distant Fire, just subscribe. Thanks, Distant Fire. You have 2 I's in your name instead of the usual 1. Is there a reason for that? But thank you for subscribing. Okay, you see it. Okay, good. Because I was just commenting there's this, like, broken picture thing every time someone cheers bits. And I wonder if that's the same on your end. Not a big deal, but I'm kind of a perfectionist like that, if you guys haven't noticed. Oh, Eric is getting timed out for some reason. Okay, knight c6. So, all right, now I think queen a4 makes a lot more sense. Let me just see if there's anything else I would like to do here. But no, I think queen a4. This is the consistent way to follow up with bishop a3 and pressure on the knight. And now I think, yeah, because if a5 I could have actually taken. And if he took with the a pawn, he'd lose the rook. So I think that's smart by DragonMates. Now, knight e4, how does black deal with the pressure on d6? I think I like knight e4. It's probably better than knight b5 because knight b5, maybe there's knight c5. So yeah, let's do that. Got to be judicious with my time management here too. Do I think it's valuable for a low-rated player to get a coach? If you're serious about improving, yes. Yes, I do. I think it is valuable. Okay, bishop f8. Interesting. So pretty greedy move. I mean, he's trying to hang on to the d6 pawn. But he's undeveloping in the process. It seems like, again, this is a move I can try to punish. But that's not going to be simple because he's ready to play, for instance, f5 and try to drive my knight away from attacking d6. So, yeah, if it wasn't for this f5 move, I would say bishop f8 is extremely risky. It might still be risky for black, but I can see why he thinks he might be able to get away with this. Huh. I mean, if you're white here, you're just thinking purely in terms of how to blast open the position. Because it demands that. So I'm looking, but pretty much everything I look at, I've got to take into account what happens if f5 is played. This is a critical moment. All right. I think this move is principled. It looks unclear. But his king is on the chopping block, not mine. My king is pretty safe, so I feel good about trying to open the center. Yeah, DragonMates says he's a greedy guy, so he's going to go for it. Someone was asking what kind of car I drive. I think I mentioned that in another stream, but I drive a Hyundai Elantra. 2013 Hyundai Elantra. I like it. My very first car was a 2005 Nissan Altima. And then I switched to the Elantra after that. Finn's on Twitch. That's right, Jake. Hey, thanks, P. Flynn. Had a good time in Mexico. That's a John car for sure. Yeah, nice and reliable, right? Like, nice practical car. Not flashy. Matt Crosset cheered 1,000 bits. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so do you guys see that where it says 1,000, there's a little, like, broken picture icon. For some reason that bothers me. Okay, so knight takes d4. Is there any other moves to consider other than that? Probably not. I mean, it opens, like, all the lines, so he's pinned here. Okay, and now because the bishop is here, I can think about taking on d6, although not yet. Maybe knight b5 first. Knight b5 and just try to overwhelm the defenses of d6. I'd also love to kerplunk this knight on f6 at some point, but his queen is defending. Knight b5 to me is just like the move that's screaming to be played right here. Smarter Chess donated $5 for the Starbucks fund. Thank you, Smarter Chess. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, he's threatening knight takes d4, so I need to do something about that. I could maybe consider queen d1. Queen d1 actually is probably pretty good, too. But no, I'm going to stick with knight b5. Let's just go after this weakling on d6. Hit it 3 times. John, if you could describe yourself as a car, what would you be? Well, I think as someone just pointed out, like that's a very John car. I think the Hyundai Elantra fits me nicely. Yeah, knight c5, but here I can just win a piece, right? Take. He takes, I take check, and then I take on c5 at the end. He has some discoveries with the knight, but nothing that should be dangerous. Does it matter which way I take on d6? Not really. I don't think. Let's take this way. Toyota Land Cruiser, yeah. Probably not. Okay, you do see the broken picture, says Biffins. Yeah, and DragonMates resigned. That was, yeah, just looking pretty rough, I would say, Dragon, after you took on d4. I think here you probably have to play f5. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen after that move, but it seems forced to me to drive this knight away from its dangerous attacking posts here. You gotta somehow shake the pressure on d6, and f5 seems like the way. I wasn't sure what to do. I was thinking maybe d5. d5, take here. That looks highly unclear. So the principle I'm operating on, for those who don't know, is You know, I'm down a pawn. I'm almost obligated to play for the initiative, play for some sort of compensation for that pawn in the form of the attack. Because if I let black simply castle and keep the extra pawn and stabilize the position, I will almost certainly be worse. So if you're going in for a pawn sacrifice, especially in the opening, usually you have to seek compensation if you're not going to win the material back. Seek compensation in the form of the initiative, some sort of attack against your opponent's king, some way to tie their pieces up, that sort of thing. So that's what I was looking to do here. And yeah, I think the critical moment in this one just came pretty early, like after 94. C4 Explosive donated $1. John equals legend. Thank you, C4. Maybe here, maybe you should just castle, and you could just give the pawn back. I know it's not a glamorous looking move, and I have my choice of which way to take on d6, but there's some things to consider for me. Like if I take with the knight, I was going to say e4 and open this. Open the bishop towards a1, but maybe I actually even just take here. And if you take on a1, I take f8. Probably come out ahead here. But I would say for sure, if you are going to go with the bishop f8 idea, I think you got to play f5 here. And whatever happens, happens. But yeah, taking and allowing all this counterplay, especially this knight b5 move, seems suspect. Have you cleared your incoming challenge settings? On chess.com, ChessBay, I should have my settings open unless Matt is having a hard time challenging me. DragonMates said, I thought you had knight takes e5 instead of knight e4. On move 12. Let's check that out for a second. Yeah, knight takes e5. It's a good point, Dragon. Yeah, I didn't realize that your knight on a6 would hang in this line. So I think Dragon is pointing out, like, let's say bishop takes. If this happens, that's a fork on the king and the rook. Bishop d7, take here. Yeah, I don't think I realized that the knight on a6 was going to hang. So you're right, knight takes e5 even might work. That might be the better move. So going back even further, I actually think maybe you shouldn't take this pawn. Seems kind of dangerous, right? Like take, then here. I'm going to quickly get a lot of counterplay against d6. So you could simply castle in this position if you wanted. And just take this way. Should be fine. Hey, Kirkwood Chess. Thanks, Luke, for Prez. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'll have to check the ad blocker thing, because I'm glad someone confirmed that I'm not crazy, that it's showing up with a little broken picture thingy. I'm going to be sucking down these cough drops, by the way, just like I was yesterday when I played the tournament. Thanks, Zangetsu. I'm trying. And P. Delvod just subscribed. Thanks, P. Delvod. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, Matt Crowset. Let's play, Matt. I see your challenge. Okay, we've got some good challenges here, too. But Matt is one of my students, and he asked to play, so I'll try to give him some priority treatment here. Don't know how many games I'm going to play tonight, guys. It's looking like it might depend on my voice, actually. But good luck to you, Matt. I want to play something offbeat this game. It's always tough psychologically when you're playing your students, as I'm sure it is for the student playing the teacher. Okay, let's play d6 on move 1. I want to see how he reacts to this. There we go. All the broken pictures. Charles M4 cheered 500. Enjoy Iceland, John. Thank you, Charles. I will. You got a cold as well, Chess Babe? Yeah, just that time of year, huh? Okay. We're going to transpose into a Pirc. Man. I was doing okay yesterday, but when you stream on Twitch versus just recording a video yourself, local recording, My eyes are like watering right now too, I realize. But you're just talking so much more. And at least for me, like my voice is inflecting a lot more. I just get excited when I talk to other people and see people also getting excited in the chat. So definitely puts more of a strain. Terminal, I'll see. Yeah, if I have time, we'll play. I did see your challenge in there. McSqueegee, no bribery necessary. But as I said, Matt is one of my students. And yeah, I guess Chessbay did kind of bribe me. Wanted me to play DragonMates. DragonMates has been a longtime supporter of the stream, however, so. Just a little bit of bribery. Okay, F4. I'm just going to keep it simple against that. But I think Matt's going for this setup. Now, I'm really tempted here to stop him from castling short. And indeed, I think I am. I'm going to play bishop c5 because for him to castle short would be the natural continuation of the way he's developed. This reminds me a lot of a King's Gambit. So I'm going to let him take here if he wants. But that may entail some problems when my knight jumps into g4. So let's say f takes e5, knight g4. I'll threatening knight f2. Also, I can try to win the pawn back whenever I want. I'd be kind of nervous if I were white. Now, let me tell you one thing about Matt, which I hope he doesn't mind me saying. He has a very bad habit of playing way too fast. So I like the fact that he's actually thinking here on move 6. Because every time we have a lesson, I'm telling him, dude, you know you got to slow down in your games, right? Because he'll routinely finish games when he has half of his time remaining. And all 3 results happen in his games. So I'm glad to see you thinking, Matt. All right, see you, Kirkwood Chess. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Blade Master. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday night. Okay, Queen e2. So that helps shore things up a bit, I would say. And Floyd Akash just subscribed. Thanks, Floyd. So yeah, that shores up the center a little bit. These squares in particular. Looking at bishop g4. Just optically, I like that move. I mean, knight g4 does entail some knight f2 or bishop f2 check plans, but for some reason it seems premature to me. I'm going to go with the more harmonious move, bishop g4. And see what he does against that. Terminal, for my lessons, I have a waiting list going right now. And honestly, I'm not teaching a whole lot at the moment. I'm teaching like 5 hours a week maximum. Just because I'm spending a lot of time with these tournaments, these Grandmaster tournaments. So if you're interested, feel free to send me a message and I can tell you the details. But yeah, if you're looking to get started in lessons right away, I'd recommend going with someone else. I just don't have a lot of time at the moment, unfortunately. Okay, bishop e3. So I can liquidate the center if I want. I can trade a bunch of stuff. All these. But I also like to look at knight d4, considering that move right now. Could win me the bishop pair. Yeah, let's play knight d4. So just trying to get him to take with the dark shore bishop so I can take back. Then I'd be hitting b2. I guess I kind of have to consider the line bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, c3, bishop b6, and then the capture on e5, but I think I could always just move my knight back to d7. Okay, this I saw, but I think there's a problem with it. So let me just calculate this for a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take here first. And then when he takes back with the pawn, I'm going to take on f4. And the issue for him is if he takes with the bishop, I have discoveries like knight b3. So yeah, take here now. Yeah, Matheson. I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm still recovering from a cold. I have a cough drop in my mouth right now, actually. Who would I recommend as a teacher? Um, I always feel weird about recommending people online because I don't often know if they're accepting students or not. But for instance, I know Christoph Selecki, Chess Explained, is very good, and I believe he's still teaching. So I would feel fully comfortable recommending him. I know Amon Hamilton is also offering lessons, and just knowing Amon and also seeing lots of his streams, I think he's an excellent teacher. So he's someone I would recommend too. I have some other friends who aren't streamers but still do lessons. So if you're interested in other specific names, I can probably give you some. Streaming is so hard on your throat. Yeah, it really is. I gotta watch the inflection in my voice. I don't know. I feel like when I'm streaming, it's more like I'm having an animated conversation with someone in person. Whereas when I'm doing just my local recordings, it's a little bit more monologue-y, so it's not as bad on your voice. Like yesterday, I didn't really notice it, and I did a 2-hour stream playing the Lee Chess tournament. Kairos just subscribed. Kairos0. Thank you, man. All right, I gotta eat a tissue. I don't want to start like snotting all over the place on camera for you guys. I'm sure you'd love to see that, right? Okay, he takes with the bishop. So that's dangerous because now my bishop is opposing his queen on f2 with only the knight in between. But if you notice, I don't think there's any completely devastating discovery right now. Knight b3 is just what I had in mind. However, I could see he might get some play after that. Maybe. Nah, probably not enough, though. I was thinking knight b3, queen g3, I take on a1. He takes g7, but I guess I can just play rook g8 in that case. Nah, that shouldn't be enough compensation for him. And knight b3, it conveniently defends my bishop. That's the whole reason it works. I don't want to go knight e6 because then he can play bishop e3. So I want to be able to play a dual purpose move like that. Yeah, let's just play knight b3. Do I have sub badges yet? No, not yet. Nope, got to work on that. Yeah, thanks, Boomerino. I did have a little snot coming out of my left nostril. This is how much I love you guys. I'm willing to sacrifice my health for you, to put it on the line. I could just be like wrapped up in a blanket with my tea right now, watching something on Netflix, but no, I love you guys so much. You're so amazing as chess stream spectators. Hey, X-Storm. Sorry, Bird Potzer. Okay, so takes on c7. I think queen e7 is probably the way to go here, although then you can check on b5. Thing is, I want to, I think, keep an eye on the knight on f6. And also, I got to watch out for queen e5 check. So yeah, probably here. I don't think bishop b5 check, king f8 is that big of an issue. Yeah, that's fine. So let's do that. Okay. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, hopefully you figure out the issue with your Twitch, whatever's going on there. Thank you, Tommy. I feel like you should insult me now in your loving way that you do. Now that you said something extremely nice. I'm not used to that from you. No, of course you're a very nice guy. But I'm just used to your sarcastic comments. Like telling me I look like the emoji on Twitch. Thanks, McSqueegee. Maybe I'll do a live stream sometime where I do that. Rook G1, but my bishop is controlling that square. Ah, but he's going to try to trick me. He's going to go bishop D6. Okay. I see you, Matt. I see you. That's why you can never assume that your opponent has just outright blundered, because it may in fact be you who is blundering. Now, I have a wide range of moves to consider here. My candidate moves, knight takes c2 check. That's a check. It's going to force his king to move. Probably play king d2 or king d1 and hit my knight. Probably king d2. But the other move I kind of like here is knight h5, because I'm looking at his queen, and his queen just looks overloaded to me. I mean, he's trying to line up queen takes g7, but knight h5 is such a nice move because it defends g7, it attacks his queen. He can't put his queen somewhere that defends both the bishop and the rook. So I think I'm going to hold knight takes c2 in reserve, not play it yet, just play knight h5. Yeah, let's go with that. Looks very strong. Keep control over the d6 square too. No reason to rush this check. What better way to spend a Friday night, says Griffin Bork. That's right. Hi, I'm John Bartholomew, and I am shaped like the Twitch emoji. When I'm not playing chess, I am an emoji IRL. Okay, that's better, Tommy. Not your best effort. I know you can do much better than that. But that's more what we're used to from you. Who is Sergeant Guile? I don't know who that is. Floyd Akash. When do we get Finn's merch? I think I got a ways to go before I can offer any merch, DragonMates. Mainly a time thing for me. I have had people offer to help do that, but I guess it's not a huge priority for me. I don't even know what I would offer, but I'm flattered that you would be interested in that. Boomerino says, curious if knight h4 before taking would have been even better. So before taking on a1, you mean? Or before even playing knight b3? Because otherwise I don't think I had a chance, right? I mean, I guess maybe... Like, I can't do it here. Because if knight h5, he could go queen e5 check. I have to block with the queen, and then queen takes h5. So I don't think it would have worked earlier, but that's an interesting question. ChessBay, I'm in contact with the chess.com guys, so yeah, they're going to help me work on some emotes and badges, but thank you for your offer. I've just been so busy, haven't really been home to coordinate with them, but we'll get going on it. Guile is from Street Fighter. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think I know who you're talking about now. It's been ages since I played that. Okay, queen g5. So here I have a choice of which piece to take. I can take on g1, or I can take on c7. I think both are good. Probably taking on g1 is best. Because then his queen will be under attack. I'm very happy to trade queens when I'm up a pure couple of rooks here. If I take on g1 and he takes on h5, I can take on c7. And that's just GG. So, yeah, I don't see any tricks for him in this position. So let's go ahead and seize that. Knight h5 before knight takes a1, says Space Cactuses. Well, let's see. So right here. I guess I could consider it seems unnecessarily complicated to me because I think the game continuation is just good. Just bank the rook. I mean, he's got a choice of which pawn to take, but I think in either case, black is probably just winning. So maybe it's possible, but it seems like just more that I'd have to calculate. The knight is undefended on h5. Because when I played it, it's extremely concrete. It's just taking advantage of the fact that his queen is overloaded. And I've already banked the material at this point, so it's like I've got that in my back pocket. So I feel pretty good about the way I played it. Thanks, RoboBeer. Yeah, it was a pretty thrilling win that we had on Wednesday night to get in the playoffs. Cool. Good to hear that, Biffins. Yeah, chess.com has been really great in helping me get set up on Twitch and being very generous with, offering to help create emojis and badges. They basically said that they can create whatever I want. It's just a matter of me coming up with it. And, yeah, I floated some ideas to them. And the gears will slowly start turning here. Just kind of tough to focus on playing strong tournament chess, too, pursuing Grandmaster, and also all the other things I have going on. Tommy. Okay, there we go. Now you're hitting your stride. Abacus Finch. Could you have played bishop takes g1 first instead of knight h5? If bishop d6 and then bishop f2. Ah, bishop f2. But he can take with a king, right? Let me go back to that position. Yeah, because, okay, here I was saying, at first I thought rook g1 was just an outright blunder, but I think Matt was being clever with that. Bishop takes g1, bishop d6, bishop f2, but he can take with a king, right? And keep his queen defending the bishop, and I don't have any knight takes e4 tricks or anything. So no, I don't think so. I think moving the knight out is just good. Okay, knight c3, so now he's developing, but yeah, he's just down too much material at this point. There's knight d5, I guess I have to watch out for, but I'm thinking take. Start getting my knight out. Just looking to see if there's any possible way he could mate me, but nah, I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. Knight takes c2, king here. I mean, probably the only pattern I have to watch out for is knight d5 check, king f8, and then bishop d6, king here, and then knight check, and he can get a perpetual. It's the only configuration. Kind of tempted just to pull this bishop back to c5. And I could play knight takes c2, king d2 as well, but could try to get a rook in the game too and just sacrifice some material back. Actually, that would be probably a pretty practical way to play it as well. Like a double exchange sacrifice. But no. Let's just do that. So that way after knight d5 check, king f8, I'm controlling this diagonal. I just try not to allow him to play bishop d6 is the only thing. He can play b4 here, but just bishop e7 should be fine. Or actually, I can even play knight takes c2 and then knight takes b4. So once you're up that amount of material, you're so clearly winning. You just have to go into paranoia mode. You should always be kind of paranoid in chess, but especially when you're way ahead, just try to anticipate any possible way your opponent's going to throw a Danny wrench in your plans. Okay, king d2. He's trying to keep my knight trapped. Just bring this back from the brink. Uh-oh. McSqueegee. No haircut for John until GM. It's pretty short at the moment, but yeah, I'm not going to do any no haircut or grow out my beard things. I don't want to copy Amon. And also, I just don't think I could deal with it personally. I liked being reasonably groomed. Okay, let's go rook c8. Okay, you were asking McSqueegee to test something. Good. I was worried McSqueegee was getting in trouble. He doesn't seem like a guy who would, though. Okay, here, I like knight takes c2, so that after king takes c2, I have bishop d6 check, and I'm going to win back the piece. Yeah, let's do it. Go bald until the GM title. that would be quite something. I thought Amon Chespe just made that bet with himself. Like, he's the one who came up with it. But him and Robin came up with it after a night of drinking or something. That's funny. Okay, bishop e7 looks fine. It's also bishop d4, but nah, I think I'm going to do that. Rook's defending the knight. Yeah, this is totally over. John, what is your favorite and least favorite chess piece? My favorite is the pawn, least is the knight. I think I've been asked that question before. I don't really have a favorite or a least favorite, really. I'm going to say my least favorite is the queens, just because you guys know that I love to play endgames. So get the queens off the board and play the endgames. A3, he's trying to trap my knight. Kind of tempted just to sacrifice the knight for 2 pawns. I'm just looking for any other way to shut down White's counterplay right away. I mean, it's so winning. Again, there's just not a whole lot he can do. But he has some ideas, like this bishop a4 move. Looking at knight h5. Knight h5 with the idea of bishop g5. Don't think it does a whole lot, though. I'm just going to play pawn h5. Push this pawn, maybe get my rook up this way. John, what is your favorite first move out of g4, h3, a3? Something else that I missed. a3, h4, and a4. If I had to choose between all of those, I would say a3 is probably the best move of those. I mean, g4 is just outright bad. h4 is outright bad. It's mostly a matter of which of those moves would be the most useful. So I would say a3. Because a3 you can basically play like you were black, but sometimes a3 might be helpful. Favorite is the king, yeah, clearly. Okay, bishop c3, he's trying to trap the knight. We'll make it difficult for him. Again, could sack the knight on b4, but... yeah, he's trying to trap it. Operation Knight Rescue. Might succeed in winning the knight. b4 and take. I mean, I could sack my rook on c3, but I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. Okay. I'm going to let him take it. This opens up bishop g5 in some instances, but I'm also thinking of just swinging the knight in this way. Naka's favorite chess piece is his ego. Tough but fair. Actually, no, let's take. I'm going to sack the exchange. That dark square bishop's annoying. And now the knight is just completely protected on a1. And my extra rook is going to tell. Plus piece. Yeah, there was a funny clip of Naka's being posted on Reddit today where he just let himself flag in a losing position. Didn't resign. And that's just vintage Naka right there. He's done that many, many times. Let's take this. LOL, it's reality cheered 1000 says, welcome back, John. Thank you, LOL. Thanks for the bits. And this picks up the bishop. Dusky Mountain says, have you seen the famous Chess Explained vs. Naka game? Yes, I have. That's a great one. You guys should go check that out on YouTube. Okay, thanks for the game, Matt. So your time management was good. As I was saying at the beginning, Matt's one of my students, and his time management is always something that needs to be worked on for him because he tends to move too fast. I think this whole idea with f4 is a little too risky. Bishop d3 is playable. e5, I usually see white playing c3, though. You can play it like this and keep the center. I kind of think the way you played it is a little too risky. Because to me, it looks like a bad version of a king's gambit. When you're unable to get your king out of the center. Maybe after knight d4, maybe you should take with the bishop and try to play this position. But I kind of think black's already doing pretty well. I was looking at something like this. But it seems like I'm bound to win the pawn back under favorable circumstances. Because yes, after queen f2, take, this is all pretty forced. Maybe there's some way to avoid losing a lot of material here, but I didn't really see it. Because even if you take on d4, I take with the bishop, and you're going to have problems on f2 and b3. And then after that, it's, you know, for black, just a matter of extinguishing white's slight initiative that they have. I mean, my king is in the center, kind of, but it's too much material. But can never relax, though, even in winning positions. So thank you for the game, Matt. I'm going to play one more game. Terminal has been asking for a game. And, yeah, Terminal has been a long-time viewer. So let's do it, Terminal. You're going to be the last opponent for the night. Got to protect my voice a little bit. I am going to stream tomorrow again, though, guys, before my trip. So, Terminal, good luck to you, sir. Let's play e4 this game. Terminal is 1951. Classical. That's pretty good. Or rapid, I should say. And he's going to play the Pirc. Okay. Note the pronunciation, guys. Pirc. That's the proper way to pronounce this opening. I didn't know that for the longest time. But if you want to seem impressive with your chess knowledge, your knowledge of pronunciation, nomenclature, it's Pirc, not Pirc, as many people say. Okay, so develop. So knight b7. So he's probably going for this setup with e5. Yeah, this is a pretty reliable line for black. It's pretty darn solid. Okay, I'm going to play knight ge2. I'm going to go with the setup that I've experimented with a few times. So what you do is you don't put the knight on f3. You leave the bishop open to go to g2, kind of unobstructed on this diagonal. I think playing a4 is helpful just to stop him from going b5. And I'm hoping to crawl forward with my kingside pawns later. So it's castle. Wonder where he's going to put this bishop. Yeah, I can't bring myself to pronounce Alekhine properly, but I am going to pronounce Pirc properly. Biffins cheered 10,000 bits. Wow. Says just one more. Heard that before. Good luck with your upcoming chess events. Thanks, Biffins. Thanks so much. Yeah, got the Reykjavik Open coming up, and then I'm playing a 9-round tournament, Norm event in Charlotte, North Carolina at the end of the month. And then I'll probably take a little break for, I'd say, at least a month. Just got to get back here and kind of get back to reality for a little bit. But 2 more major tournaments to go. Okay, and he castles. So, as I was saying, I want to try and push my kingside pawns. But first, I think it's smart to play h3, just to stop knight g4. Stop knight g4 so that I can put my bishop comfortably here, prepare f4, and also get going with g4. JBrand1 cheered 500 bits. Thank you, JBrand. Yeah, so bishop e3. Yeah, let's do it. Complete my development. Try to predict what Terminal is going to do. I mean, usually when they play rook e8, they're going bishop f8 soon. But he played this early b6 move too, so I kind of think he wants to put the bishop on b7. Zion Kanan says, Alekhine is pronounced alternately like a normal person's name and like coughing up a hairball. That's right. It's one you got to practice for sure. Al Jochen. Something like that. Yeah, that's right, Zion Candy. He says, John, if you keep coughing enough, you're bound to accidentally say Alekhine's name eventually. That's right. All right, I'm on the last cough drop. Wish me luck, guys. Al Jochen. That's right. Okay, so he uses the f8 square for the knight instead. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, I think I just want to get a move on with my pawns. My candidate moves here, f4, g4. Don't think I want to touch the tension in the center. I mean, I briefly considered doing my favorite thing, trading the queens, and then maybe playing a5 at the end, but I don't think that should lead to anything. I guess of the 2 candidate moves, f4, g4, f4 looks more appealing because I'm putting further pressure on this point on e5. Yeah, I think I'm all prepped for this. And this is one of the major benefits of developing that knight to e2 rather than putting it on f3 as most people do in this line. Putting it on f3 is fine. It's the main variation, but I think there's something appealing about this. Yeah, you can say Lichess on here. It's no problem. I do stream exclusively on chess.com, but we're not going to act like Lichess doesn't exist. Heiserjack just subscribed. Thank you, Heiserjack. Appreciate it. Dusky Mountain says, if he takes on f4, what would you retake with? That's a good question. I think pawn. Probably pawn, because I'd like to have these 3 pawns in the center nice and connected and have the ability to hopefully play e5 after that, or even f5 and maybe cramp him further. But yeah, I think pawn. Also makes it a little harder for his knight to enter the game because he'll always have to reckon with f5. Whereas if, say, I take with my knight, I think it gives him more of a license to play knight g6 or knight e6 and try to offer a trade. Okay, so he goes bishop there. So kind of like my game with Matt, I could try to win a pawn in the center, but then I would have double isolated e-pawns, and I don't think it's that great. I lose all my momentum with that, and I'm probably going to lose the pawn back. So I'm thinking I'm thinking I want to advance f5 and try to crush him on the king side with my pawns. Kingside storm. But this is a little annoying, not going to lie, because he's pinning the knight on e2. I could play g4 first, but then he might take on f4. f5 is my instinctive move here. Also might be helpful to get out of the pin. Like rook f2. That's not a simple decision. Because you hate to lose time. Like rook f2 makes sense to me, remove my rook from the pin, but if I'm ultimately just going to push my pawns on the king side, it may not be the best way of executing that attack. No, I think I like it though. Keeps the tension like one move longer. I'm going to play it. Not sure about that move, but I'll try it. Yeah, Terminal is playing well. I agree. Is that called a rover? A rook lift? Because I think a rover is a rook lift. That's like Jennifer Shahadi's term, right? Or she likes to use it. I wouldn't say it's exactly a rook lift because I'm not trying to transfer the rook somewhere. I'm mainly playing it as a defensive move to get the rook out of the, or the knight out of the pin. Oh, Amana's streaming as well? I think I saw him actually when I first logged in. He was playing Bullet. Hey, Luis, I'm doing pretty well. How about you? People are talking about chess books. Yeah, Wandering Winder brings up a good point. Usually when you're saying rover or rook lift, it's in front of your pawns. Yeah, you're going in front of your rank of pawns and trying to swing the rook over somewhere. Usually to attack. Yeah, I'd love to go to Brazil sometime. I've never been. I am trying to get a match, by the way, speaking of Brazil, with one of the Brazilian grandmasters, Grandmaster Krikor, Mechatarian. He also streams on Twitch. So I reached out to him a couple weeks ago. He actually sent me a message back. I got a reply. We're going to try to do, I think, a standard stream. So playing a couple rapid games against each other. So look out for that in the future. Thanks, Slim Pickens. Yeah, I was doing pretty well in that arena. At least in the middle/end of it. The beginning, the first hour did not go so well. But I got to play some really strong players. I mean, it was an incredibly tough event. Hi, John. Will you ever stream on Twitch? Says Tommy. Okay, knight 6 to d7. So that looks like a move in preparation for, not only reinforcing e5, but also anticipating that I'm going to push these pawns. And maybe one of his ideas is if f5, he can play bishop g5 and offer a trade of the bishops. I like queen d2 here. I'm going to play it right away. Because to me, that's a move that just makes a lot of sense in almost every variation to come. Now if f5, it's prophylaxis, he won't have bishop g5, I can take it. Also, I allowed this rook to come into the game. I might think about playing rook d1 and then at some moment take on e5 with the d-pawn. So queen d2 is a constructive move. It's, as I said, a prophylactic move in some cases. Gives him a lot to think about. And I notice he's starting to burn a little bit of time here, so I sense that he's not completely sure what to do. So if I can throw the ball back in his court and make him make a tough decision and burn more time to do so, then all the better. Okay, but he played queen c7 pretty fast. So I could continue with f5. Could also throw in this rook move. But I'm kind of thinking f5. Now might be the time. Let's see, f5, if he takes... Take with the knight, knight e5 maybe, b3. Okay. Maybe b3. Do I throw in one more improving move? Yeah. Let's do that. Now we're getting into some shadow boxing territory, but playing b3 so that in the future when I go f5 and he takes and jumps a knight into e5, I don't have to worry about the c4 square. It's kind of advanced, but makes sense. By the way, I can also think about playing d5 sometimes in these structures too. Plays rook d8, just gets his rook over. Okay. Yeah, d5 is tempting in addition to f5. I could change up plans like that. I would say f5 is more directly challenging, but d5 has its logic as well. Not sure which one's better. Now I'm going to go with f5. I'm going to stick with my original plan. But I'll be curious, once I analyze this later, which one's best. Okay, so he takes. Yeah, I'm going to take with the knight. Crossed my mind here that he can think about d5. Takes and then take on g3 with the queen, but I think with c6 being unstable, it's probably not a good idea. My recommendation for a Chessable feature, able to organize purchase chapters in a custom way. Some of the author's organizations don't make sense to me. Yeah, be able to basically reprogram the book in the order that you like. That's an interesting suggestion. Also, the Chessable monkey should be an emote. Abel? Yeah, maybe I'll make Abel an emote on my Twitch channel. Or are people spamming links? Is that what's happening? Thanks, Faith Trekker. I'm not sure what's going on with Moobot, but I would suggest not trying to spam the chat. Okay, knight e5. I was thinking about playing f6 here as a sacrifice. I'm not completely sure about it, though. f5, bishop takes, and then rook takes. But that would be giving up 3 points of material, all to try to land my knight on f5. Seems a little suspect. Probably not quite right. I could continue going with the g-pawn, but then he might play bishop h4. f6 looks like a lot of fun, though. I kind of like that move. Yeah, no. Let's maneuver. I'm going to bring this guy around. What is centipon loss? I think that's a Lee chess term. Average centipon loss. That's how they measure how accurately a game is played according to their auto analysis. Okay, knight knight d7. He's probably trying to go to f6. Okay, bring this knight up to f4. If you ever played Magnus, what opening will you use? Well, I played the Scandinavian against him yesterday, so there you have it. Braffin, we were working with someone that David knows, a freelance designer, and that person helped us come up with Abel. Taj Gibson donated $1. I'm late, says, what did I miss? Hashtag Ron Depp for president. Anton, you didn't miss... Well, you missed a couple interesting games. But I've been playing some 10-minute. I played DragonMates, and then I played Matt Crowset, and this is game 3. But thank you for tuning in, Anton. Hope your Friday's going well. John, how important are inaccuracies and mistakes? Yeah, I don't know about the categorization that Lee Chess uses, but I'd say it's like a rough estimate of how well you played in a given game, but it's very rough sometimes. Okay, knight c5. So I can back this knight off in the future if I'd like with b4, although that gives up the c4 square. I'm thinking I should continue trying to attack him and maybe play knight h5. There's no threat associated with this move as far as I can tell. I mean, I've got e4 covered. So yeah, let's drop the knight in here. And now f6 is a very serious threat. It's backed up by my knight and my rook. So I think he's going to have to take some action against that. Either play f6 himself, which looks very ugly though, weakens e6, blocks out his bishop, or I don't know what his alternatives are. Maybe you move the knight back and try to reinforce, but that looks a little wrong. John, what's your next Norm opportunity? That will be the Reykjavik Open, which I'm playing in a matter of days. It's a 10-round tournament, open tournament. Someone mentioned before earlier on the stream that they thought the Reykjavik Open looked a little weaker than in years past. And I agree. I was looking at the pre-registered list. It's a little less top-heavy, not as many Grandmasters. There's a lot of Grandmasters in the 25 to 2600 range, but not so many 2600 plus Grandmasters. So probably is going to be a tough tournament to norm, but not impossible. As we saw, Amon normed in that tournament last year. Okay, he plays bishop f8, so that's probably a good move. That anticipates f6. He's going to try to close things with g6 in that case. I could make him give up his dark square bishop. f6, g6, knight g7. Wonder also if f6, g6, bishop h6 works. It's a pretty brutal way to do it, but that might be good. f6, g6, bishop h6. And then I'm trying to trade the bishops and come into h6. Quite simply. Yeah, I think that's just good. Let's try it. He's getting kind of low on time too. There is a 10-second increment, but once I unleash this idea, it might be something that he has a tough time dealing with. It looks like a lot of fun too. So let's go for it. Thanks, Sharik. I should be good in a couple more days. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm glad to be streaming too. As I said, I'm also going to be streaming tomorrow as well, if you happen to be able to tune in. Yeah, Geary's not playing this year. No Geary in Reykjavik. The games should be broadcast, and especially if I'm doing well, I think I'll be able to get some of my games up on there. That is correct, Wandering Winder. You can norm after 9 or 10 rounds. Wow, knight g6. So he's just going to let me take on g7. He does gain an attack here, but no, that can't be good. Thought briefly about knight f5 there too, but I think taking on g7 is just begging to be played. Because now I clear this square. Also, maybe I can get this knight to f5. If he takes with the bishop, he's giving up his dark square bishop. Doesn't seem like it's going to work. Okay, thanks, Ion Canyon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, because now knight f5, I'm threatening knight h6 checkmate. So I think it should be good. When is my birthday? It is September 5th. I was born September 5th, 1986. My brother's birthday is September 6th. And Terminal is going to graciously allow the checkmate. Yeah, so Terminal, I think you played that well. It got tough for you right when I started attacking you with knight e2, knight f4, but I think you handled yourself quite well out of the opening. This is just a tricky line to handle for black, I believe. Because I've done a little research on this opening, having thought about playing it from the black side. And this is one line I kept stumbling across and thinking in a practical game it might be difficult to combat because white's not risking much in the center and on the queen side. And on the king side, there's all this potential, as I was demonstrating with the pawn pushes. Kind of think maybe knight f8, this whole setup with knight f8 isn't the best, and that you might be better off at some point trying to take on d4. I'm not sure when, though. And if that's the case, capturing on d4, maybe your pawn should not be on b6. Because if it stays on b7, you can guard c6 a lot easier. I know you're looking to get your light square bishop out this way. But yeah, I think it's kind of a subtle thing. Like, probably your initial setup was a little bit off, and that allowed me to build some momentum. That said, though, later on, like right around here, I suspect you're probably okay. So maybe instead of knight c5, just knight f6. I was thinking you would play this. So fortify the f6 square. If I play g4, maybe you can make a case for sacrificing a piece for 2 pawns. Because you might get my dark square bishop in the process. You probably have some pretty decent compensation here. This bishop coming like here or here, let's say. In conjunction with a d5 push. But yes, after knight c5, knight h5, and I got an f6, it seemed pretty rough. I thought you were going to go g6 here, and I was ready to do that. And as I was telling you guys, the idea is if he takes the knight, I don't have to play queen g5. He can block with the knight in that case, but I can take here, and then the queen is coming in, and I'm just going to try to mate him on g7. You see how the f6 pawn is a bridgehead, allowing me to transfer my pieces over and threaten checkmate all the time on this square? That's what I'd be looking for. So, like this pattern. But thanks for the game, Terminal. That was fun. That was a good one. I would say that was the most competitive game of the 3. No offense to DragonMates and Matt. Thanks, Biffins. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one in Australia. Have a good day. Ah, Sion. Cool, thank you. Oh, it's pronounced Sean. Okay, you said that at the end, and I still said Sion. Sean, thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind words. Yeah, and I'll do my best on the GM quest. I've been at it for a few months now. Rating getting a little higher. I'm at my peak FIDE rating right now, 2477. Feel like my game's going in the right direction. I wish I could spend a little more time studying. I feel like I've just been traveling to tournaments and then coming home and trying to frantically take care of some business and do stuff like streaming, Chessable, YouTube, teaching a little bit, but My game is getting stronger. I can feel it. And what's nice is when I play longer tournaments like this, like I'm going to be in Iceland for 2 weeks, I will have a chance to play some game, not play some games, to study some chess in addition to playing my games. I have noticed that when John attacks, it works, but when I attack, it fizzles out and I get mated, says the Undine. Yeah. Well, like when I watch Magnus Carlsen, I have that experience as well. I'm just like even me as an IM, I watch him play and I'm thinking, how does he make it look so effortless? Everything he does just seems to work out somehow. Oh, that's good to know, Boomerino. September 5thers unite. Oh, Core 4, 1996. I don't think that popped up, but it looks like you subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gamer Boy, no, I've never reached 2,500 FIDE before. For many, many years, I was just languishing in like the basically 2450 region. Like I'd go up to 2460 and then I drop down to 2440. I was always like oscillating in this 20-point window. And now I've finally broken out of that. Hopefully I can keep my rating above that and break 2,500. Thanks, BL Swagger. Am I going to play the Lichess titled arena regularly? Yeah, I think if I'm able, I'll try to play that tournament. I don't know how often they're holding it. It seems like every month and a half or so. But I did enjoy that level of competition. That was awesome. Terminal says, do you have any general advice for dealing with attacks against your king like that? Well, I think you did the right thing in the sense that you kept your pawns back. That's my biggest piece of advice. Some people, when they're getting stormed like that, their natural inclination is to try to push pawns in reply to sort of buffer or meet that pawn push. But it's good that you didn't do that. I think this line is just kind of a specific scenario where how you arrange your pieces a little earlier, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 moves ago, it matters a lot when it comes to how this is executed. But I think you did the right thing, like maneuvering, trying your best to like take the squares that are left behind when my pawns are pushed, as you did with the knight jumping to e5. That's really good. If you can somehow strategically trade a piece, reduce the pressure a little bit, that's always nice. You might have to look for even like a sacrifice back, as I was illustrating with that idea. If you went to f6 and I continue with g4, like to me, this doesn't look like it's out of the question at all, especially from a practical point of view. I mean, maybe the computer will still say white's better here, but this really takes a lot of the heat off of your king, and now it's me who's having to play the consolidation game and worry about keeping my position together. So, like, this looks kind of fun for you. So yeah, it's a tandem of things. I think for the most part, I can tell based on your skill set and your rating that you know how to deal with them. This might just be a line that you have to look up. Heiserjack says, John, if you give us bad chess advice, our ratings go down and your rating goes up, getting closer to GM. It's worth a shot. That's an interesting philosophy there. I would never do that. Okay, once a month for the League Chess Arenas. So they're trying to do like Title Tuesday, basically. Similar format. Bird Potzer says, what is the best way to improve my play in endings? It's a pretty broad question. I would say books are definitely helpful. 100 Endgames You Must Know is a great one for theoretical positions. And if you're not a member on Chessable, you can go on there and take a look at that book. It's one of our best-selling books on there, and it's great for the Chessable format. Got to plug my own site, right? But basically with endgames, you have to approach it in a two-pronged way, in my opinion. You have these set of endgame positions, these theoretical positions, like the Lucena position, opposition, king and pawn versus king, that you just absolutely have to know cold. But then you have endgame practice, right? So just knowing general endgame themes that don't necessarily apply to a single position. And there are books for that too. For example, one of my favorite books that deals a lot with practical endgame positions and also theoretical positions, so it kind of hits both of them, is Amateur to IM is really good by this guy, Jonathan Hawkins. He was an IM when he wrote the book. Now he's a GM, pretty strong GM too, I think high 2500s. But he basically catalogs the things that he did to go from a good adult amateur player to an international master. And much of the book is about endgames. Like, he heavily credits the endgame as providing him with quite a bit of improvement in chess. So I think that book does a very good job of striking a nice balance between the specific theoretical positions you got to know and also illustrating general endgame themes. If you're a bit more advanced, there's also a really good book, Endgame Strategy by Shereshevsky. That's excellent. Like, generations of strong chess players have used that before. I have other recommendations too. There's this new series by Johan Helston, Swedish Grandmaster, called Mastering Chess. He has Mastering Chess openings, Mastering Chess, which is like more of a middle game book, and then Mastering Chess endings. I also think those are excellent. And the Endgames book has a lot of good exercises in there. That's a book I hope we could get on Chessable at some point. It's published by, I think, Everyman Chess. Also, I would say playing out endgame positions against a computer is pretty good, especially some of those theoretical ones. So if you study a theoretical endgame and you just want to know if you can win from that position, you could always set it up and play it against Stockfish or something and see if you can execute it. Gold Lich King, I'm gonna log off here in a second. So no more playing today, but I will accept your friend request if you sent it to me. Hey Pat, how's it going? You said, what is the best setup against the Queen's Indian and the Nimzo Indian? That's a good question. Against the Nimzo, I kind of think 4 Queen C2 or 4 E3 are the strongest lines. Pretty classical variations. Against the Queen's Indian, I'd say it's close between the Petrosian and the G3 variations. Oh, hey, Andrew. Good to see you here in the chat. I was not fast enough against you yesterday, Andrew. You're setting up your dirty stalemates. But I hope you had a good time in the titled arena. Yeah, definitely DragonMates. Even though you're on the higher end of the rating spectrum for it, like, there's still some things in Amateur to IM you could glean. It's a great book. It's an awesome book. Yeah, I gotta take care of my voice. I'm going for about an hour and a half tonight. It was a good stream. And as I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to stream one more time before I head to Iceland. I don't think I'll stream while I'm in Iceland because I won't have my mic with me. And also, I don't really know what my setup's going to be like at this Airbnb where I'm playing. If it's possible, I'll try, though. Maybe I can sneak in a stream from, like, either my Airbnb or a coffee shop or something. But also, like, when you're on vacation, you want to just do your own thing, too, right? Even though I'm there primarily for chess, I'm also taking a few days to do some sightseeing and just generally relax. Approximately what rating would you recommend for Amateur to IM? Yeah, that's a good question because I think players of almost any rating can get something good out of that. I'd say minimum rating 1,000 to 1,200 would be useful. Let's say 1,200. I think if you're in the 1,200 to master range, it's gonna teach you some very helpful stuff. That's a pretty broad range, but the book is written in a way where it's accessible to players of all ratings within that range. Thanks, McSqueegee. Yeah, thanks, Chess Babe. Appreciate you tuning in, as always. Okay, guys. This is a good point to wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a good evening or a good day, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure when I'll be streaming tomorrow. I would actually bet I'll probably be streaming a little earlier. Afternoon U.S. Central Time. So if you're in Europe, first of all, I don't know what you're doing awake right now, but if you're in Europe, it might be a more friendly time for you tomorrow. Because because I have to go see my accountant at 4 o'clock. And then my flight to Seattle and then to Iceland, I got to leave at 7 a.m. is my flight on Sunday morning. So I'm definitely not going to be streaming pretty late at night tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be a little earlier. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thanks for the support, everyone who donated and subscribed. Have a good night, guys. Bye.